again, welcome. I am Elizabeth Lester. I've been with School to Home and working with them for, I think, almost a decade now. And so I have a lot of experience with various ways that School to Home has supported the schools that I've been at, and I'm very happy to be here again this year. All right, so if you didn't get a chance to share, we're going to go ahead and jump in. If you have, when you go to share your ideas, please, if you didn't get a chance to introduce yourself, please tell us a little bit about yourself before you share. What has been your most significant challenges this year? And I'm sure that we're all going to be able to relate to those. And so I will model how to actually take Jamboard sticky note to be able to add it. And to start off the conversation, I'm going to share that I'm at Madison Middle School in LAUSD in North Hollywood. And so I'm going to add a sticky note here. And the way that Jamboard works is on the left-hand side, I have sticky notes. And so it's going to pop up a window and I can pick my color. So our colors are blue and white. So I'm going to choose a blue one. And I would say our biggest challenge in relationship to School to Home and meeting the 10 core components for me has really been the parents being able to come on campus. So parent workshops and the fact of in-person. So parents are really wanting in-person. But there's limitations to us being able to have the parent workshops in person that are in place from the district for safety. And so that's one thing that we've had a little bit of struggle with, trying to balance everything to get our parents trained, get them involved, they want in person, especially because we don't have a lot of our parents, last year they were using the students' devices for our parent workshops, but the students are at school. So being able to have the online activities has been a lot of challenging because they don't have the devices at home. So they want the in-person, but we're limited to how we can actually do those in-person instructions. And so once I've written this, I click save, and then I can add another one. And so I'm just going to move this one over here. And so Salvador is going to be doing some of our scribing and getting introduced to Jamboard. So who'd like to carry on the conversation of what have been your most significant challenges this year? Oh, and by the way, I'm not opposed to cold calling on people. So just so people are aware.
I'll go next. I want to echo the challenge of not having parents on campus for workshops and whatnot. We do have some people who opt to come for an IEP in person. So we do have a few meetings. And so that's been a challenge. Our workshops have really been low attendance. Whether we do it, in the morning or afternoon or in the evening, that we've tried different times. So our parent engagement has been really, really a challenge. Also, we didn't deal with discipline problems last year. So just getting used to that again, just a student behavior. We have to keep reminding ourselves that our, sixth graders were fourth graders when they last attended school in person. And so sometimes they're stuck there socially. So just the behavior problems. Okay, let me not call them problems. Challenges have been significant so far.
I see that Michelle has her hand up, so I want to give her a chance to share, and then we'll go into Yumi, because I saw you come off mute.
Yes, so we're also having challenges with parents. We thought for sure we'd have more parent engagement this year. But for whatever reason, even though we're still doing our workshops via Zoom, we're getting less parent engagement. So they're not, getting used to the Zoom at all. They're totally challenging it. And we haven't heard from parents that they want to be on campus. We haven't heard from parents at all. We're struggling.
Hey, yeah, give me more. I like this Jamboard stuff. All right.
So ditto on all of those. But I think a new challenge for us, and this is what we were afraid of when we first started to talk about one-on-one, is damage to the devices. We've had a lot of damaged computers come in. And so our tech person is trying to Mickey Mouse like old devices with the new devices, but really just making sure that our students are being responsible with it.
And I can kind of ditto what everybody else said. I know we've, just for the same purpose of prior parents using their kids' devices, so we have we've adjusted all our parent meetings for after school. So we had to calculate, okay, by any time by 4:30 or 5 o'clock, all the students are home. So parents can use their devices to be able to log into the meetings. But even so, a lot of our parents are still working, 2 or 3 jobs, and they're not able to log in. So we've had a tremendous low turnout. Even, to be honest, we even had an articulation meeting for the incoming students, and we had 0 parents show up as much as we advertised. And so it's been a struggle. And just a lot of our students still, to a certain extent, if we think about it, we're at a middle school. So the 8th graders, the last true full year, academic year, was when they were in 5th grade. So in 6th grade, it was 3rd grade. So from 6th to 6th grade, that's a huge developmental gap that they're somewhat missing. So it's still behavior. They're out of their house and running around. They don't even know what to do with themselves, especially the first day they were just looking around. They didn't know what to do. And like, okay, so I can run. And they just started running like crazy. So it's just been hard, difficult, and just a lot of, we're getting more and more behavior, but also same thing with our 8th grade students, where we had about 45 Chromebooks, which were not returned from our prior year's culminating class. I know the district told us we were supposed to have them keep it for summer school purposes, and then we would collect them. So we're down to about 30, which we haven't been able to retrieve. So we're just down to 2 good Chromebooks and 3 that their cameras are not operational. So, and just dealing with, even though we've submitted orders and the back ordering and all of that, so that's also taken a toll on getting the technology needed to support students and teachers.
Thank you. I'm actually going to pause for just a second. I want to show us also something that's kind of nice about Jamboard is we can actually take some of these and start to create some groupings. So like, for example, if we have parents, we can actually start to group our parent ones together. We can group students. And so then like, I'm just showing like with the, with it, we can actually start to see some trends of where our challenges are starting to really pop up, because we're going to have more sticky notes. So I love how people are putting things in there. Like I said, I'm just showing a strategy in there. So we've talked about parents. We've talked about some of the student devices. So I'm kind of just going to throw out a couple more topics that might prompt a few things in people's minds about our 10 core components. We have professional development for our teachers. We have our coaching and mentoring, and we have our student tech systems. And so also think not only about the parents and the devices, but let's also kind of think about what are some challenges with our professional development, our coaching, our getting up our student tech aspects, learning academies, even being able to participate in those settings of the regional meetings and even this. So what other challenges do we have? And we're going to go probably about another 4 to 5 more minutes on this before we change topics.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I was really like when you put them into categories such as students and parents. So looking at all the stakeholders, I think the big stakeholder that's being left out is the staff, teachers and staff in the school. This meeting itself that is not in the usual format or being together, that has been a significant challenge for all of our meetings. Many conflicts that are set up because not everybody has the same calendar. So a meeting now can be conflicting with a meeting with another meeting that was set up by the local district versus the main district versus this and that. And so in terms of that part of the stakeholder, us, there is a great problem that is significant of a challenge. To me, I know I had things to do, but I had Zoom meetings like this one set up from 10 o'clock until when this one ends. So for those number of hours, because all those meetings were set up by different people. You know what I mean? So meetings that have become essential in this format have created a conflict of time for people. And the opposite is true. Not being able to meet together in person has made it a real big problem for most. Oh, what's it? We have 10 minutes? Okay.
I guess, yeah, okay. We've got a lot less than I was expecting. So we'll finish this one, then we'll move on to our next one. So finish your statement.
You know what? I could go forever, so I'm going to stop right there. Meetings, conflicts, and meetings for our teachers and staff have become a problem. Are you writing now instead of me?
Well, you were speaking, so I scribed for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Excellent.
Because it's definitely not possible for me to do two things. I would never have been able to do that. But I love this Jamboard thing.
All right, so let's change the topic a little bit. So we've talked about some challenges. So up here, I actually can we have multiple boards. So it's almost like multiple whiteboards. And so now we're going to go to our second one. And we're going to think about how has the support from school to home assisted you in addressing these challenges? So if we think about those parents meetings, the devices, the professional development, the coaching, any of that kind of stuff, the network that we have because of our relationship with school to home, how has this really supported you this year? I'm sorry, person who drew a circle, I'm going to delete it.
Yeah, I was practicing.
Let's go ahead, Norma. I'll go after you.
Okay, thank you. I think one of the supports that we received is that those 2 new positions that that you guys granted us has been very beneficial for us because as I'm assistant principal, but I'm also the site tech lead. And I was also trying to support with the parent engagement. Having that position just specifically for that has taken a load from me. So I appreciate that. And also having the other position to assist parents with the internet service. I mean, some already know we have a lot of need for that for our students. So that's been a great blessing for us.
And just to add to that, those positions, but actually the information to assist parents with. So we do have a good chunk of parents and guardians that are maybe either, I'm not going to say afraid of technology, have an inherent dislike for it. So when we've now switched our ARIES and that beginning of the year packet to a completely digital format in ARIES, so they have to do a student data confirmation. But we're trying to get to people with technology who don't like technology or who are not engaging. So with that information about getting them help with the internet, that financial assistance, helping them to hook in, I think has helped us to pull some of the more of the parents in who were resistant to creating an ARIES parent portal, and doing that because we're assisting. So we're saying, please let us help you. Now with this help, please help us by, completing this piece and getting the information that we need about your students.
And if I missed something you said, please go ahead and add it to the Jamboard too. Other places?
I this Gerardo from Riverside Unified. I echo what my colleagues are saying with the positions or a position of TOSA that we were granted to help assist with parent engagement, parent modules, because as the site principal, it was difficult. I mean, we could not do it. I could not do it. I have a small team of 2 teachers. One classified, my tech person and certificated, that we can't handle that. We would not have been able to do it correctly and with due diligence. So having that support was key. My goal last year was not to add something else to my teachers' plates. They were overwhelmed, and rightfully so. So it was just to add something else was not going to happen. So that TOSA position to help support with the parent engagement and the modules was essential, and it continues to be essential this school year.
It's all right. Different people can be writing on this thing. Huh? Fantastic.
Yes. So that's a great comment. So you can have up to 50 people onto a Jamboard at once before it blocks others.
Fantastic. I should have used a Jamboard before. All right.
All right, so I'm going to share one because I shared one before. So one of the things that really has supported, and it was even more than just this year. I actually think also back to even beginning of the pandemic. So with school to home, one of the things that I really found is that professional development really provided that mindset of getting the teachers ready to not only know tools, but also know some of the pedagogy that went behind how do we leverage this stuff. So that combination between that, having that mindset at the school through looking at these 10 core components of having the professional development there for the teachers, along with having that support, like you guys were saying, of having some coaches, whether or not they were brought in as TOSAs or whether or not they were kind of developed organically within the school site. And for us, those coaches were actually organically within the school site and also through other grants with our district. And so school to home helped to create that mindset to prepare our teachers even beforehand, but also throughout and kind of through this year. All right, so let's go to our last one, which is, what additional supports do you need from your peers that's here in this room, from the other leaders within our team? And we got a little bit of time last night to be able to learn together. We didn't get a chance to get to know each other too much, but hopefully over today and tomorrow, we'll get to know each other a little bit more, especially our new leaders to the team. But what else can our peers, us, help you with, or school to home? And this can be your dream, your wish.
I think if any of the members now present can think of something they maybe just stumble by luck or systematically, or because they're just geniuses, that has helped them do something better than they thought it would happen. That it just happens to work well in their school, that we can, in other schools, try to simulate. I mean, sometimes you hear people doing things in other schools that because the traditions at your school are not bad, you cannot even think of it. So this will be the time to share your secrets of something that you do really well, or that it's done successfully. For my school, I think one of the things that works, not because I came out with it at all, is because the coaches help some of the teachers to do organically, help their peers, help their instead of the coaches being the coaches, their friends are their coaches. So there's like, instead of one single IT coach, we have like 10, 12 IT coaches who are not official, but they're the ones to go to people in the, within 3 or 4 classrooms away. I don't know if that has happened in other schools. Is somebody writing my pearls of wisdom?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I thought I heard the typing. I said, oh, okay.
So I kind of turned that a little bit also into a need from school to home is, so what I kind of took from what you were saying was coaches are helping the peers, and you're building networks within the school site to support peers. So one of the things to build off of that aspect is maybe there's strategies to build these networks that we can share with each other and school to home can help provide us.
Yes.